Maria Santos stood in the rain, her world collapsing around her. The house behind her, once filled with laughter, hope, and dreams, was no longer hers. The bank had taken it. In her trembling hand, she held a small plastic bag with a few clothes, and in the other, the tiny, trusting hand of her 5-year-old daughter, Elena. She had exactly $143 left in her account, and no place to go. That night, they slept in their car. The sound of rain hitting the windshield echoed Maria's racing thoughts. She stared into the darkness, feeling like a failure. A broken marriage, crushing debt, and now homelessness. But as she looked back at Elena, curled up in the back seat, hugging her worn-out teddy bear, something inside Maria shifted. She realized she didn't have the luxury to give up. "I promise you," she whispered softly, "this is not our life. This is just the beginning." The next morning, Maria did something many people are too afraid to do. She asked for help. She drove to her friend Sophia's apartment and requested to stay for just 2 weeks. Swallowing her pride wasn't easy, but her daughter's future mattered more than her ego. Sophia agreed, and that small act of kindness became the first step toward rebuilding everything. Maria wasted no time. Within days, she secured 2 jobs. Early mornings were spent cleaning hotel rooms, while evenings were dedicated to waitressing at a busy diner. Her days blurred together into exhaustion. She slept barely 4 hours a night, her body aching, her hands cracked from chemicals, and her feet swollen from standing all day. But every single night, no matter how tired she was, Maria counted her tips and whispered to herself, "This is temporary." Elena became her silent strength. While other children slept peacefully at home, Elena often waited quietly in diner booths or rested in supply closets. Yet she never complained. She believed in her mother completely, and that belief fueled Maria even more. After months of sacrifice, Maria managed to save enough money to rent a tiny studio apartment. It wasn't perfect. The walls were worn, the neighborhood was rough, and there were nights filled with sirens. But to Maria, it was hope. It was stability. It was a step forward. Still, life was far from easy. Bills piled up, and food was often limited. Maria skipped meals so Elena could eat. She cried in silence, hiding her pain behind a forced smile every morning. But everything began to change the day she found a book left behind in one of the hotel rooms she cleaned. The book talked about money, mindset, and opportunity. For the first time, Maria realized something powerful. Her biggest limitation wasn't her situation, it was her thinking. She began to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could create a different life. From that day forward, Maria used every spare minute to learn. She spent hours at the public library, reading about business, success, and financial independence. While Elena read children's books nearby, Maria studied like her future depended on it, because it did. One day, she overheard a conversation that would change everything. 2 women were discussing their cleaning business and how much they earned per hour, far more than Maria made at the hotel. That moment sparked an idea. That same night, Maria created simple flyers offering her own cleaning services. She didn't have money for marketing, so she relied on courage. She posted them in neighborhoods where she believed people would need her services. Days later, her phone rang. It was her first client. Maria poured her heart into that job. She cleaned not just with effort, but with pride and attention to detail. The client was impressed, and recommended her to others. Slowly, one client became 2, then 5, then more. Within months, Maria made a bold move. She left her hotel job and focused on her own business. It was risky, but for the first time, she felt in control of her future. Her business grew through trust and word of mouth. People didn't just hire her, they respected her work ethic. Soon, she had more work than she could handle alone. That's when she made another life-changing decision. She hired another struggling single mother. That decision wasn't just about business, it was about purpose. Maria realized she could lift others while rising herself. Over time, her small cleaning service evolved into something much bigger. She began managing properties, helping homeowners maintain their houses, and eventually offering full-service solutions. Her income grew. Her confidence grew. And most importantly, her life began to change. Maria moved into a better home. Elena attended a good school. For the first time, Maria could sit at the dinner table without worrying about the next bill. But success didn't come without challenges. There were setbacks, unexpected problems, and moments of doubt. Yet each obstacle only made Maria stronger. She learned, adapted, and kept moving forward. Years passed, and Maria's small idea turned into multiple successful businesses. She employed dozens of people, many of them women who once stood exactly where she had stood, lost, afraid, and desperate for a chance. Her daughter Elena grew up watching all of this. Watching her mother struggle, fight, and win. Inspired by that journey, Elena worked hard in school and eventually earned admission into one of the top universities in the country. The day Maria received that acceptance letter, she cried, not from pain, but from overwhelming pride. 15 years after that rainy night in the car, Maria stood on the balcony of her beachfront home, the same kind of home she once cleaned as a maid. The ocean stretched endlessly before her, a symbol of how far she had come. She hadn't just built a business. She had built a life. A legacy. Her journey proved something powerful. That your past does not define your future. That rock bottom can become the foundation for something extraordinary. And that sometimes, the hardest beginnings lead to the most beautiful endings. Maria looked at the horizon, then back at her daughter, now successful, confident, and strong. And in that moment, she realized. She hadn't just survived. She had truly lived.